In today's episode, revolution explodes, justice becomes terror, a legend seizes power, and a continent bleeds in the ultimate struggle.
In the spring of 1789, a bankrupt France faced a severe political and economic crisis. King Louis XVI summoned the Estates General to resolve the nation's crippling debt. Frustrated by inequality, the commoners of the Third Estate declared themselves the National Assembly. Swearing the tennis court oath, they promised to write a new constitution for France. Tensions erupted in Paris as citizens sought arms to defend their revolutionary ideals. On July 14th, an angry mob stormed the Bastille fortress, shattering royal authority. The fall of this medieval prison symbolized the birth of a new era of liberty. Soon after, the Assembly adopted the historic Declaration of the Rights of Man. In October, angry women marched to Versailles, forcing the royal family to return to Paris. By 1790, the old feudal system was dismantled, but deep political divisions remained. In June 1791, the royal family attempted to flee France, but was captured at Varennes. This failed escape destroyed all remaining trust between the French people and their king. Fearful of foreign intervention, France declared war on Austria in April 1792. Prussian and Austrian armies threatened to destroy Paris if the royal family was harmed. This threat enraged the revolutionaries, sparking a violent assault on the Tuileries Palace. The monarchy was officially abolished, and France was declared a democratic republic. At Valmy, French citizen soldiers miraculously halted the invading Prussian forces. The revolution had survived its first great military test, fueling radical patriotism. In January 1793, King Louis XVI was executed by guillotine for high treason. The execution shocked Europe, uniting monarchies in a grand coalition against France. Facing civil war and invasion, the revolutionary government created the Committee of Public Safety. Maximilien Robespierre emerged as the dominant and ruthless leader of this new regime. Thus began the Reign of Terror, where political opposition was met with immediate death. Suspicion ruled the streets, and thousands of citizens perished under the guillotine's blade. Queen Marie Antoinette was among the high-profile victims sacrificed to the revolutionary fury. To fight foreign enemies, the Republic instituted a massive nationwide military draft. By 1794, the extreme violence of the terror led to widespread fear and exhaustion. Robespierre was arrested and executed, bringing a dramatic end to the radical phase. Following Robespierre's fall, a moderate five-man government called the Directory took power. This new regime struggled against hyperinflation, corruption, and royalist rebellions. Amidst the instability, the French military continued to fight successfully abroad. A brilliant young artillery general named Napoleon Bonaparte rose to national prominence. In 1796, Napoleon was given command of the French army of Italy. His rapid maneuvers and decisive victories forced Austria to sue for peace. Returning to Paris as a hero, Napoleon's political ambitions grew rapidly. He led an expedition to Egypt, seeking to disrupt British trade routes to India. Though militarily mixed, the Egyptian campaign vastly increased Napoleon's public fame. By 1799, the unstable Directory had lost all public trust and respect. In November 1799, Napoleon launched a successful coup, overthrowing the Directory. He established the consulate and appointed himself first consul of the French Republic. Napoleon centralized the government and stabilized the shattered French economy. He signed the Concordat of 1801, restoring relations with the Catholic Church. In 1802, the French public voted to make Napoleon consul for life. He introduced the Napoleonic Code, unifying French civil law and protecting revolutionary gains. This legal system guaranteed religious tolerance and equal treatment under the law. Despite domestic stability, peace with Great Britain proved temporary and fragile. War resumed in 1803, forcing Napoleon to prepare for a massive British invasion. Seeking to secure his regime permanently, Napoleon prepared to crown himself emperor.
On December 2, 1804, Napoleon was crowned Emperor of the French at Notre Dame. He famously took the crown from the Pope's hands and placed it on his own head. Britain, Austria, and Russia formed the Third Coalition to destroy the new French Empire. Napoleon marched his Grande Armée eastward with unprecedented speed and precision. At sea, the French Navy was decisively defeated by Admiral Nelson at Trafalgar. This British victory secured Royal Navy dominance and prevented any French invasion of England. Undeterred, Napoleon achieved his greatest land victory at the Battle of Austerlitz. He brilliantly crushed the combined forces of the Russian and Austrian emperors. The victory broke the Third Coalition and established French dominance over Central Europe. Austria was forced to sign a humiliating treaty, ceding vast territories.
In 1806, Prussia joined the fight against France, fearing Napoleon's growing influence. Napoleon swiftly crushed the Prussian army at the twin battles of Jena and Auerstedt. He entered Berlin in triumph, establishing the continental system to blockade British trade. Russia remained active, but Napoleon defeated them at the bloody Battle of Friedland. The Treaty of Tilsit in 1807 divided Europe between French and Russian spheres. Napoleon was now at the absolute height of his power and prestige. However, trouble brewed when French troops entered Spain to enforce the blockade. The Spanish people revolted, launching a brutal guerrilla war against French occupiers. Seizing this opportunity, Austria declared war again, but was defeated at Wagram in 1809. Despite this victory, the ongoing war in Spain drained valuable French resources.
By 1810, the French Empire reached its greatest geographical extent. Napoleon divorced Josephine and married Marie-Louise of Austria to secure an heir. In 1811, she gave birth to a son who was proclaimed King of Rome. Yet, Britain continued to defy French rule, bolstered by its powerful navy. The continental system failed to cripple Britain and severely damaged European economies. In Spain, French forces faced endless resistance and mounting casualties. British General Wellington led Allied forces, slowly pushing French troops back. Meanwhile, relations between Napoleon and Tsar Alexander of Russia steadily deteriorated.
In June 1812, Napoleon assembled over 600,000 men to invade Russia. The Russian army retreated, burning crops and villages to deny France supplies. A horrific and bloody clash occurred at Borodino, leaving tens of thousands dead. Napoleon entered Moscow, only to find the city abandoned and set ablaze. With no peace offer from the Tsar, Napoleon was forced to order a retreat. The Russian winter struck with fury, turning the retreat into a disaster. Starvation,
Freezing temperatures and Cossack attacks decimated the fleeing Grande Armée. Only a tiny fraction of the invasion force survived to cross the border. Sensing weakness, European nations united in the Sixth Coalition against France. Napoleon raised a new army, but his young recruits lacked experience. At Leipzig in 1813, the coalition defeated Napoleon in the Battle of the Nations. Germany was lost, and French forces were pushed back to their own borders.
In early 1814, Allied armies invaded France from all directions. Despite a brilliant defensive campaign by Napoleon, Paris fell in March. Napoleon was forced to abdicate his throne and was exiled to Elba. The Bourbon monarchy was restored, placing Louis XVIII on the French throne. In March 1815, Napoleon escaped Elba and landed in southern France. Sent to arrest him, French soldiers instead wept and joined their former emperor. Louis XVIII fled, and Napoleon reclaimed his imperial throne in Paris. European powers immediately declared Napoleon an outlaw and mobilized their armies. On June 18, 1815, Napoleon met his final defeat at Waterloo. Allied forces, led by Wellington and Blucher, shattered the last French army. Napoleon abdicated once more, ending his dramatic return, known as the 100 Days. He was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena, where he would remain.